Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, a Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we just got done watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the Carolina Panthers in week 2 of the NFL season. We're going to talk about it. The game literally just ended maybe 10 minutes ago, so this is fresh. Panthers didn't look good. Not much else to say about it.
See, I think the defense looked better. I really do. I think the defense looked better. Yeah, they had some bad happens, but Teddy Bridgewater looked pretty bad, in my opinion. 2 interceptions and that fumble really, dug us in a hole.
It's a weird game, right? Like, in the first quarter and a half, the defense looked terrible for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Got shredded, absolutely shredded. And then in like the first quarter and a half of the second half, the defense looked good.
Yeah,
and
they looked solid.
They turned the ball over. They stopped a lot of big plays. Tom Brady looked particularly bad in that period of time.
They were getting some pressure on Tom Brady, which again, that causes him to throw errant throws, and that's what he was doing.
Yeah, still no sacks for the Panthers in this game.
Burns got close a couple times.
Got close. We did cause a fumble from Brady, but it doesn't count as a sack, I guess. But, and then the offense looked horrid that first quarter and a half and then looked pretty good, at the time that the defense was looking good. And then I don't know what happened there towards the end. The clock management was terrible. You can't, you're down 7, you got 2 timeouts left. You cannot let it get to the 2-minute warning. You can't. And Bridgewater's making Cam Newton's 2-minute drill look super fast. And we know Cam does not get to the line quickly in most cases. Bridgewater was just like he had all the time in the world. I don't know, that you get a 4+ minute drive and they're moving the ball, but it's taken forever to actually start the plays.
And we're down by 2 possessions. We needed to get that ball in.
Oh, this is when we were down only 7.
I'm trying to remember that drive.
No, maybe you're right.
I think we were down by 2 possessions. We had 5 minutes left, and we spent like 3.5 minutes taking the ball down. It was like, come on, move, guys. Let's get this over. They didn't really have the urgency that they should have had. And then they did that horrid that onside kick. I
don't know what that was.
I think
the ball is supposed to do something different there, I guess, but
I think
it's supposed to get on the receiver too, like super quickly or something, maybe.
I think what happens is it spins really fast, and if someone goes down and doesn't jump on it or just doesn't get a good grip on it, it spins out, and then they can get it. Because honestly, all onside kicks are almost 100% not retained by the kicker.
I was going to say, you have to try something different because you just can't do an onside kick, which is why they needed to score before the 2-minute warning. So at least they would have the 2-minute warning and then their 2 timeouts, and then they've got a shot. But so that was bad. Bridgewater looked terrible. He did not look good in this game.
No,
he put up a lot of yards, 367 yards, 33 of 42. That doesn't sound bad, but no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he was just late on a lot of his throws. That first interception that he was trying to throw that little screen to McCaffrey, that was like 5 yards ahead of him, and he overthrew him by 7 yards.
And I think that was
terrible.
I don't want to say a turning point of the game, but I feel like that deflated the whole team because the defense did a 3-and-out. They were marching down the field. They were in field goal range, and then he overthrows him.
Yeah.
He gets it picked off. Then they go march down the field, score a touchdown. And then next drive, 2 plays in, he fumbles the ball. And 1 play later, Dante Jackson's playing 30 yards off Mike Evans for some reason. I know he's a deep threat, but come on. You're supposed to be a speedy guy. And Mike Evans just, gets the touchdown. Easy peasy. And that's throws us down 14-0 in first quarter.
14-0 in no time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
after what looked promising on the first 2 drives.
Yeah. And you're down 14-0. Your game plan is out the window at that point. You've got to figure out everything. Now, obviously they did something at halftime. There was some adjustments made and came out looking a lot better in the second half. You know, we played very well in the second half. We beat them in the second half, 17-10. Unfortunately, they were up 21-0 going into the second half, so didn't quite get there. But, you know, made the game out of it. You know, made a game out of it in the second half there and had an opportunity to at least tie it up within the last few minutes. But just too many mistakes.
And the run defense was looking decent up until that last couple drives with Fournette. And then Fournette just kind of pushed the middle of the pile again.
Yeah, another weird thing is because it looked like, you know, that first couple of drives for Tampa that they were going to be able to run all over us, and then we clamped down. And then Fournette, those last few drives for Tampa really kind of did what he wanted. And we're a little afraid of a Fournette in this game, and he did end up coming up pretty well. 12 carries, 103 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Also had 4 receptions, I think, on one drive for 13 yards. So 16 touches for Fournette in this game.
Can I start questioning Derek Brown? Is it too soon to start questioning? Because there was a few plays, quite a few plays, he was just getting pushed around by that line, and that's what was giving Fournette a hole. I know that touchdown run, he was double teamed and pushed out of the way, and it looked like Shaq was supposed to cover that gap, but he went to cover a different gap or so. And
here's the thing, you know, I've seen a lot of people talking crap about Derek Brown, talking crap about Matt Rule. It's too early. I mean, this is game 2. We wouldn't even be through the preseason at this point, working the kinks out. It's just too soon.
But I mean, Derek Brown is our first-round draft pick at defensive tackle, and he's made no plays. He's being bullied around by other players. And
I understand that, but it's
defensive tackle. You should be able to step in and bully somebody around. I haven't seen him bully anybody yet.
Not yet. No, I mean, he was without KK on the other side of him this game. You know, that's something we were expecting him to have. I just still think it's too early for any of these guys. I mean, honestly, to call them busts or even worry about them. I know, but even worry about them. I think it's just too early.
I thought Woodrow Hamilton, who came up off the practice squad, at least he showed me a flash for a second.
He had a couple of nice plays for sure. Yeah. I mean, for somebody that you call in from, you know, the practice squad, you couldn't have asked for much better from him.
No, not at all.
But I'm a little confused. I don't know. The play calling all day confused me, especially offensively.
Mm-hmm.
We got McCaffrey 18 carries. Of course, big news here. McCaffrey did go out in the early fourth quarter with an
after
ankle
he scored
injury.
That second touchdown.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll find out a little more about him sometime today. It looked like they were just taping it up, so it could be a sprain, something like that. I hope not, because even a high ankle sprain could be.
I mean, he is the wheel that turns this offense.
He is. I will say that Mike Davis came in and looked okay. I mean, he had eight receptions for 74 yards. And I think it all happened in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, in the last 2 drives. I mean,
8 receptions for 74 yards. He almost had as many yards as McCaffrey had from scrimmage all day long.
Yeah, but at that point, the Tampa Bay defense were playing prevent defense.
I understand that, but don't you think that maybe those throws to the halfback might have been open at some point during the game? Like, could we got McCaffrey more? He only had 5 targets, McCaffrey. Last week was the same way. Last week he didn't have that many targets.
Yeah, I don't know why Joe Brady hasn't utilized him. There's been, like you said, some very questionable calls. A 3rd and 2, we threw the ball 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then Robbie Anderson gets tackled back there. It wasn't even like a screen. I mean, what is your play calling? This is the NFL. Those corners are going to be able to make a tackle. A legal formation ended up taking that away anyways, but still. I mean,
some big penalties for the Panthers today. You know, last week we praised them for being kind of poised and having some, you know, looking professional. Today there was a lot of just bonehead plays.
Yeah. Derek Brown, that second drive on Tampa Bay, that late hit, they would have kicked the field goal, but instead Derek Brown, he had plenty of time to maneuver away from him, and he just elbowed him, got the late hit, and then they go and score. It's stuff like that. And maybe that's also why he had another boneheaded play too later on in the game.
I think he had hands to the face or something.
Yes, it was on a third down.
Yeah. Yeah, those kind of mistakes on third down when you get ready to get off the field, or when you're on offense and you're moving down the field, you can't do that stuff. And we had a lot of both of those, unfortunately, today. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson both looked great.
Yeah.
Both over 100 yards receiving. Didn't get into the touchdown or getting into the end zone, unfortunately, for either of those. But, I mean, between them and Mike Davis, that was pretty much our entire passing offense.
Yeah.
So,
I still really haven't seen them push the ball down the field at all. There's one pass to Robbie Anderson on blown coverage that was wide open. I mean, that's good that he's getting him the wide open throws. Don't get me that wrong, but you got to try to force it a little bit more. I mean, we have some deep threats.
It's almost like that's what their plan is. Like, all right, for 3.5 quarters, we're just going to go short. And then when they expect us to go short, we'll go deep that one time.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll always be there. Well, sorry, you're going to have to do more than that. Like, we have to keep that's why they're crushing down on McCaffrey every time he touches the ball, you know, and he's averaging 3.5 yards a rush, which is well under his average, only 7.3 yards per catch, but he only got 4 catches. So, I mean, you know, you say 22 touches for McCaffrey is fine, and had he played that fourth quarter, it probably would have been more like 26 or 27. But the way that they're giving him the ball, just it doesn't seem to be conducive to him making the big plays.
No.
You know, get him out in space like we did last year with McCaffrey. Get him, you know, in the flat, some screens, things like that. Stuff where he can get ahead of steam and make moves.
Yeah, I did like the fact that we used Curtis Samuel kind of in the backfield a couple times. We kind of mixed it up. He did an end around. He kind of was in the backfield. I enjoyed that. I thought using Curtis Samuel to his variety, you know, his strength.
That was something we talked about in our previous show, was hoping that we got him the ball in some more creative ways. And they did, at least early in the game. I think they did give him like just a regular running back carry at some point, I think in the second half, and he got 8 or 9 yards. So
yeah,
I like that. That was good to see. I mean, on Tampa's side, I don't know if Tampa's a very good football team.
No, I said this in the preseason. I've been harping out. I don't think Tampa Bay has gelled yet, and Panthers are just not as talented, just point blank. They're not as talented as Tampa Bay. And I could see them being very good. That defense is good. They were putting Teddy under a lot of duress. Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul. I mean,
five sacks for Tampa.
They're very good up front, getting pressure on them. But that offense, even though they put up 31 points, unfortunately against this defense, it's not a lot.
It's going to happen a lot against this defense.
I mean, I expect them to gel. I thought this was the Panthers' chance to kind of jump up and get them while they still haven't gelled. But right now, if you're a Tampa Bay fan, I mean, yeah, you're happy you got the first win, but it was up in the air until that Fournette touchdown. I mean, they made it a game, the Panthers did.
They're still in it. But yeah, I mean, you know, Godwin did not play in this game, so that probably hurt their offensive efficiency a little bit. Mike Evans looked good. He looked healthy. 7 catches, 104 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, I thought they probably could have got him the ball even more against.
They went away after that first quarter and a half. I know we had this argument about Ruggs last week dominating. See, I thought Evans was dominating in that first quarter and a half. And then they just kind of went away from him for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of how I felt about Ruggs last week and it's sort of the same thing with Ruggs, although he did get hurt. So I don't know how healthy he was in the second quarter there, or second half there. But Evans, yeah, I mean, it's like anytime they wanted, he had 10 targets overall, 7 catches, like I said. But Leshaw McCoy, I expect him to get cut after this game because he had 2 big drops for them.
And then Fournette kind of broke out and looked good.
Yeah, Fournette.
I mean, even when he had guys on him, he was still making a couple yards left.
Well, he's obviously the most talented running back on that team. It was just a matter of time before he sort of solidified himself. I think probably next week he ends up getting the start.
I do too.
It would surprise me if he didn't.
After being in the offense for now 3 weeks now, knowing pass protection and stuff, it'll probably be at least a 50-50 split, and then it'll go all the way Fournette.
Well, shoot. I mean, he had, like I said, 16 touches today to Ronald Jones' 9.
Yeah.
So, and that's just week 2. So I would expect it to be more like that. What'd you feel about the 4th down play? When was that? First half, I guess.
Yeah, it was first half because we still had 0 points.
Yeah, and first half. We're down 14-0. We're on their side of the field.
Yeah, and we were at the 36-yard line.
Yeah,
and
line up for a punt. Go ahead.
And when they lined up for a punt, my initial thought was, "Oh, this is easily within Joey Slide's distance." And then my second thought, "Oh, this is a fake."
Yeah, I even said to Brandy, my wife, I was like, "Why are they lining up to punt? This is obviously going to be a fake punt. Why don't they just run it on the offense?" And then they ran it. They give it to Jeremy Chin, hoping he can get a couple of yards. He only got 1. And turn the ball over. I mean, either kick the field goal, which it would have been a long field goal, but Joey's got mid-50s range easy.
I'm fine. The Panthers being down 21-0 going for it there.
Well, it was 14-0 at that point. It was 14-0 at that point. But it is the part of the field that you should go for it, I think.
Yeah, I'm fine.
So I have no problem with them going for it.
4th and 2, just do either, a dump off pass to McCaffrey to see what he could do. DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson has sure hands, it looks like. Do something. Not Arma up the middle.
Again, and that same play, it was 3rd and 3, okay, on the 37. You run the ball, but you run it with Mike Davis, okay? And then 4th and 2, you run the ball, and you run it with Jeremy Chin. Where is Christian McCaffrey? Didn't we learn this lesson last week? You can't give him the ball one of those 2 times?
The fake punt, he's not even on the field. If he's on the field,
I'm just saying, don't even put him. Don't even.
But I agree. We needed to line up in an offensive formation, like kind of spread them out. Let's see what we can do.
And then finally towards the second half, they start giving McCaffrey the ball. They start letting him run. This seems to be the
repetitive thing with this team.
I know.
In 2 weeks, it does.
Let's start doing that in the beginning of the game.
Joe Brady has to realize he has a Ferrari in the garage to take it out early instead of leaving it in there until the second half.
Yeah, it was 4th and 2 for that second touchdown. It was 4th and 2, and all of us probably are screaming, "Give it to McCaffrey. Give it to your best player." They do, and he just runs it in for a touchdown. I mean, let's just do that every time. It's like Happy Gilmore says when he hits the hole-in-one on the par 4. Like, I should just do that every time.
Yeah.
Why not?
McCaffrey's more likely to make somebody miss, just in the open field. And then that little option pitch to him from Teddy Bridgewater, that's exactly what he can do.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of ugly. I don't know, Bridgewater. I mean, what do you think about Bridgewater at this point? Are we – I was almost ready to call for Will Grier in the second half.
I was too, honestly. I know people have been harping on this suck for Trevor and stuff. And honestly, after this game, I know it's only week 2. I was like, all right, if Teddy plays like this more, I'm going to agree with him. I would like Teddy Bridgewater signing, but he doesn't seem to push the ball down the field. Today, he got rattled and threw. I mean, both interceptions were completely his fault.
Yeah.
Bad passes.
And he fumbled the ball.
The ball. He looked like Kyle Allen out there. He just was a more accurate Kyle Allen.
Yeah, 78% completion, but you're thrown 42 times and you're just averaging 8 yards, a throw. I mean, that's not enough.
You're not
Go
a
downfield.
40-year-old quarterback who can't throw it deep. If you can't throw it that deep, it's time. It really is time to hang it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Bridgewater would be a very, very good backup quarterback, but I'm not ready to hand the franchise to him.
I want to see a little bit more, but he's on my worried scale too. I mean, I know this team is in transition. We know this team is not going to be a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
But still, I'm starting to worry about some of these, issues that we're having. Like I said, I'm getting a little nervous about Derek Brown because hasn't really shown up. I'm anxious to see the PFF scores, see if he graded as badly as he did last week.
I think he's going to be at least at that bad, if not worse.
I don't know. He was at like a 29.
Yeah, I don't know. There's 28 points below that, so there's plenty of space. Again, and I'm going to talk about out of both sides of my mouth here probably because I just said that I wasn't sure about Teddy, but I think we as Panthers fans just need to remember that this is a team that has a brand new coach, a brand new quarterback. 50% of our players on the roster were turned over. More than 50% of our players were turned over. We lost a lot of our veteran leadership. We did not have an off season. We did not have any preseason games. This was always going to look bad.
Yeah.
And it's actually looked better than I thought. So this game is a tough one because we actually had a chance. Last week was a tough one because we had a chance. And I think that maybe makes it feel worse than it actually is because we actually had a shot at both of those games and we, kind of gave it away. But, if you'd have told me we were going to start 0-2, then I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, there's a lot going against us.
And I think a lot of it is also how the defense hasn't – it gave me glimpses this week. It did. It gave me glimpses. And one person stood out, Brian Burns, I thought played really good. He had 2 tackles for losses, 4 tackles. He got to Brady a couple times where just a second late that he got the ball off. So he played well. Jeremy Chin had another solid game. He made a couple plays, but, 7 total tackles. So I'm just waiting for him to step it up. To hear Whitehead still screwing up in the pass game.
Man. Look for
Shaq
one
Thompson,
major Tahir Whitehead pass interference a game, I guess.
Yeah. Shaq Thompson, where are you?
Yeah, 3 tackles. 1 solo
where
tackle
are
the
you?
whole game.
You're supposed to be the captain of the defense, the, go-getter. You got the big money. I don't hear you making a play out there, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Corn Elder. I thought he had a really nice play towards the end of the game that actually I think it was on a 3rd down. He just knocked a sure catch away from one of the receivers there. Not something that you want to say often is shout out to Corn Elder, so I'm going to take advantage of it. Good job by him. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the stats here. 1 QB hit the entire day. Now I know Burns got close a couple of times, but that, they had 7. They had 7 on Teddy, and we're still not getting anywhere close to the quarterback, in any meaningful way.
Nope.
So yeah, that's got to be something that they figure out because it feels like we have the talent on, especially that front 4 there, but maybe we don't. Maybe these draft picks they're not going to work out. I don't know.
Maybe it's Phil Snow. I mean, this is the first time he's been in the NFL. Maybe he's not realizing talented offensive linemen and offenses are in the NFL. Maybe he's out of depth too.
And again,
this is way premature. I'm not going to harp on that too much, but
of course,
it's something to think about going forward because, if this team improves, great. The defense improves. All right, then, that was just a, early season thing, but it is something to keep an eye on because this whole coaching staff is new to the NFL.
Exactly. And that's, that's just something we have to keep in mind. We've had this stability for the last, I mean, John Fox to Rivera was a very long time of stability at head coach, right? We had John Fox for a long time. We had Rivera for a long time. And now we're starting over again. And we have to, especially this year, we just have to be patient, I think. Mm-hmm. And we don't want to be patient because we haven't, we've been expecting to compete every year up until this year. And it's hard to sort of switch your mind around a little bit and understand that that's probably not going to happen this year. Even though we say it, we've been saying it all preseason that the Panthers aren't going to be in the playoffs this year, where 6 wins would be great. But once the games start, we want to win.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Every time.
We both predicted a win in this game, even though, we probably shouldn't have. Oh, man.
And then we go to the Chargers next week, and I'm going to go ahead and say I'm probably going to predict a win.
Probably, yeah. I mean, eventually we're going to be right. We're not going 0-16 this year, so.
Quick question before we move on. Dante Jackson. Did he have a good game or not? I can't tell because Mike Evans had a great game, but I don't know if Dante was on him the whole time. I know he was on him on one touchdown, but I don't know if that was schemed to play 30 yards off or not. But
I mean, I'm just kind of looking at ESPN here, and I see Mike Evans walking in for a touchdown with Dante Jackson sort of late to get to him. So my initial thought would be not a great game, but he had an interception. Right? Or was it a fumble recovery?
And that one he walked in, I believe, is that one that I was talking about where he lined up on the goal line. Mike Evans ran us like a streak and then cut in like a hook. Mm-hmm. And at that point, he was like 5 yards into the end zone, but that he lined up on the line. Like that's where they wanted him. Yeah. So it was like a deep zone they had him in.
I would say, I don't think Dante was particularly terrible in this game. Mm-hmm. Like he did have the interception. He did make that play. I thought Rasul Douglas actually had a really nice game. Again, I thought he had a pretty, for just sort of getting in and learning the offense or the defense and everything, I thought he played fairly well. Actually led the team in tackles today.
That's not necessarily a good thing if you're
not a good thing, but not a good thing for your team for sure. But every time I saw him out there, and he had a tackle for loss as well. Every time I saw him out there making a play, he seemed to wrap up the guy, which is something that a lot of guys don't do.
Yeah.
I saw
Dante Jackson. That is definitely you.
Yeah. I saw Jeremy Chin one time go for a tackle and just sort of slide down the guy like a fire pole, and just come on, just grab hold of whatever you can grab hold of. Anything that's sticking out on a player, grab hold of it.
Except the face mask.
Except the face mask. Oh man. I don't know. Joey Sly, got to hit my Joey Sly moment here, but 3 for 3 on kicks. Didn't see anything that looked even close to missing. So good job, Joey.
Yeah. You want to do heroes and zeros?
Yeah. Why don't you kick it off?
Well, heroes, I'm going to say DJ Moore, 120 yards. Mm-hmm. My bold prediction was 135 yards, so he was almost there. A lot of that, unfortunately, in the fourth quarter. I'll give him the hero. Nice little nod, like I said. I thought Burns did pretty well today. Unfortunately, didn't get to the quarterback. But
yeah, Moore is a good one. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Mike Davis just for stepping in for, the best running back in the league and doing everything that he needed to do. Made a couple of really nice receptions, helped us get down the field to, make this game close. Had a really nice move on one catch where he sort of just went by like 3 guys who were all trying to get him down. So I'm going to give Mike Davis the hero, although I do agree that I think DJ Moore is probably most deserving of it. But I will give it to Mike Davis because who knows, he may never get another one.
And Robbie Anderson, another really great performance by him.
Yeah, definitely. 9 catches for Robbie Anderson. That's not what he's known for.
No,
he's known for being, a big play threat, which he had a 39-yard reception in this game. But 9 catches, 9 out of 10. Good job, Robbie, man.
Dude, he has some really solid hands. There was a bad pass that he just snatched out of the air.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I've been very impressed with him so far.
Okay. And zeros.
Yeah, I'm going Derek Brown. I'm going to go ahead and steal it from you. Derek Brown's the 0 for me. Just not living up to the hype so far. Again, I'm not giving up on him. I know you're not either. But a couple of bonehead plays there that extended drives for Tampa and just didn't seem to be in on anything positive that I could see.
No. And that's kind of where it worries me. He hasn't been in anything positive.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the obvious choice. I'm going to go Teddy Two Gloves turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, he spotted them 14 points and gave us – he put the Panthers in chasing territory the whole way. One turnover was on our 20, 25-yard line. One play, touchdown to Mike Evans. I mean, then he threw another pick, another bad throw. Just you can't do that with this team. This team can't afford 4 turnovers in a game, and
he's got to work. He's got to figure something out in practice this week on his timing with the receivers. Like they've got to stay late. They've got to get there early. That needs to be a focus for the coaching staff for this offense, is making Teddy get in sync with those receivers because he's throwing behind them. And then that one to McCaffrey, I don't even know. I mean, I guess that was just a misread, or it slipped out of his glove or something.
He was trying to get it over the defensive tackle.
He got it over the defensive tackle.
Yeah,
he also got it over everybody else on offense. Yeah. And it looked like it was set up for a decent play as well. I mean, they have blockers there.
Yeah. And not only that, did you notice in the first quarter after those 2 turnovers, he was sitting by himself and he just seemed – I don't want to – yeah, he just was like –
Did he have a towel over his head?
No, he did not.
God, I hope he didn't have a towel over his head.
But I mean, like, he just didn't seem to be – he went, woe is me, kind of. And I was like –
He wasn't sitting there like you see the great ones do with their flip charts or their iPad or whatever, trying to figure it out and talking to the coaching staff. And, yeah. No, I know. But, that throw to McCaffrey, like, I understand you're trying to get it over the defensive line. But that's a throw that every quarterback in the league has to be able to make. And that's kind of inexcusable.
And if you're going to overthrow it, chuck it to the stands. I mean, if you can't get it over that line that he has just a great position, you just chuck it to the ground or chuck it to the
There were definitely a few plays where the pressure was in his face, and I was really hoping that he would throw it away, and he held on to it, trying to make a play. I understand, but at some point you just got to understand that you got to get rid of it. All right. I don't remember.
Now, overall, I kind of want to do this. What would you grade the team this week?
I think C-.
That's where I was going, C-.
Yeah, I think we both did C+ last week. Yeah. How about the coaching staff?
I am still confused on the coaching staff because they made some boneheaded decisions, but in the second half, they made some tweaks that really kind of made this team move and kind of stop them. And
I'm not sure where to put the onus. Is the execution just terrible, or are the play calls not?
Is it the players or the play call? Yeah,
I think there's a combination of the two. I'm still giving the benefit of the doubt to the coaching staff because I think they're going to figure it out. That Matt Rule is so highly respected by everybody that's ever come in contact with. He's got to be a good coach. I don't know that.
I mean,
he's had the opportunity.
Everywhere he's went, the first year they've struggled. So, I mean.
That's true.
So.
And again, like, if you'd have told me we were going to start 0-2 but be competitive, I would have been like, yeah, that's what I want. Honestly, I want them to be competitive. And I figure they're going to lose a lot of games. That's what we've been talking about this whole time. So, it is tough when it's happening.
Very tough.
Yeah. Do you remember what our beer bets were? I don't even remember.
We didn't do a beer bet this week. Our
bold predictions.
My bold prediction was the 135 yards by DJ Moore.
Oh, you got close. I think I said
you said 3 sacks.
3.5 sacks or something. Yeah, obviously. We got 3 tackles for loss. You going to give me partial credit?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to give you credit for DJ Moore. I mean, he looked great. So good job on that. Yeah, you could have said somebody, one of us should have said DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson both go over 100 yards because they did that.
Well, we want to thank everybody for listening. If you like us, please give us a 5-star review and tell your friends. You can follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. You can email us any questions or comments at mailbox@meowmixpodcast.com.
Yeah, and we'll be back Wednesday?
Thursday.
We'll be back Thursday. And we'll be back on Thursday with our Week 3 preview against the San Diego Chargers. Our only 4:00 game of the year. So.
And we get to be in that new fancy stadium.
Yeah, with all those screaming fans. Oh, well,
even if it was a Chargers.
I was going to say that'd probably be the case with the Chargers anyway. It's gonna.
We may actually have a home field advantage there if their fans.
I was going to say, like the piped-in crowd noise is going to be way louder than.
Man, I hate the fake crowd noise. I am fine with a little bit of a rumble, but like any penalty, boo! It's like, come on, that was obvious.
I honestly just wish they'd have the low rumble the whole time.
I'm fine with the low rumble. The low rumble I get, but it was like, come on. It was a 2-yard gain.
We just need fans back in the stadiums. It seemed to work okay for the Chiefs that first game. I think I heard that one fan has ended up testing positive out of that. So let's just put fans back in the stadiums, not full capacity, but enough to where, I mean, that sound, the Chiefs sounded fine. Their fans sounded fine. So I don't know. Were there? Did you happen to see if there were fans at Dallas today?
I do not know.
I don't know.
I do know Atlanta blew a huge lead, though.
I know the Cowboys didn't come back and win in that game. Dang.
And I'm going to cut this all out of our YouTube video.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, everybody. We will be back on Thursday. Until then, keep pounding.